Hello, everybody. It's GW. I am just here in my little office. I am just at the day after Election Day. The day after Election Day is one of those things that is absolutely an interesting time. You have the winners. Everybody wants to be on the winning side, but not everybody is. Usually it's about half and half because it's an election. So you have the winners who are celebrating, and in some cases are a little bit surprised that they won. And in other cases, they're sitting there going, well, of course, we knew we were going to win 2 months ago, so this is just a fait accompli. But you also have the people who lost. And you have a lot of people who lost who sat there and said, look, I needed to do this, and I didn't want to lose, but I knew that the odds of me winning were very, very slim. Now, the state that I live in, which is Tennessee, the state that I live in, the senators and the congresspeople from this state are all Republicans. I mean, all Republicans, and they are very solidly entrenched. They're not effective, by the way. They don't even begin to be effective, at least not that I can tell. And from it's just amazing to me that these are the best people that we could have put into the seats in those things. I mean, I'm just amazed. I look, when I take a look at who a congressman is, who a senator is, I would like to walk into a room and be proud to shake their hand. And in most cases, not all the cases, but in most cases in the state here that I live in, that's not a true statement. And that's really too bad. And maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm just unrealistic in what I expect them to do for us as a people. So here's a question I have for you. This is an important question. Did you vote? Did you vote yesterday? Did you early vote? Did you have a say in the election? Or did you just go, I know how it's going to end up. My vote doesn't count. It doesn't matter. And I have other things to do. That's really not a healthy way for the country to have anybody think. But yet, about half of our people in this country probably have never voted in any election at any time anywhere. That's unfortunate. It's too bad. So we had an election. No secret to anybody who's ever listened to me. I'm not happy about the way the election turned out. I am unhappy about the election, and I am concerned about what the effect is going to be. It's a cause and effect relationship. The cause is we had an election, a person won. Okay, so we now have a new president elect, and let me say up front, it was an honest election. I have no qualms that this election was as honest as any election we have ever had in the past. There were great efforts made to ensure that the people at the polling places were not being impacted and they were doing their job the way it was designed to do. What else can you do? Okay? I mean, it was a fair, honest election. We're going to have a fair transfer of power. And in this case, it's probably going to be without violence. Amazing that I even say that, because it didn't used to be a question, but now it is. So you have that balanced power. Okay, so what can we expect? Well, in my mind, there's a couple things that we can expect to happen. First of all, the security of our borders, particularly our southern border, is going to be ramped up quite a bit. Now, that ramping up may come at a cost, and the cost is more than just a dollar cost. There's a people cost when you do that. So you also, can only hope that that's going to go well and that it's going to go in a humane manner and that we don't just walk into a room and look at everybody we have there, say, show your cards, and anybody who can't show their cards comes out of the room, gets thrown into the back of a bus, and off they go. That's not right. That's not the way it should happen. So we're going to have increased security of the border. I guess that's good. We're also going to have tax changes over the next 2 to 3 years. It takes a while to change the tax code. And those changes are going to, in my estimation, will surprisingly benefit the rich. Not going to help me, not going to help the people in the lower middle class, not going to help the people who are, hand to hand, hand to mouth, and not going to, the people who are trying to get by on three minimum wage jobs, not going to help those people much either. Now, they all think they're going to be helped. I doubt it. I'm going to be watching grocery prices and all that good stuff, and it's going to be interesting. I'm going to be much more critical, than I have been in the past on the day-to-day stuff that goes on. Now, on the international scene, well, no, let's stay in the country here a little bit. What happens with the Department of Justice? Now, obviously, the Jack Smith, who is the person who is leading the investigations against President Trump, he recognizes the handwriting on the wall at this time, and I'm sure that he is in the process of kind of winding these things up. And I wouldn't be surprised if on the day that the inauguration happens, that it isn't just a kind of cut and dried, and he goes to the outgoing Attorney General, "Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm done." We'll see. But you have the FBI and the Department of Justice, who I am concerned are about to be gutted. The worst thing that a president needs is an attorney general who only knows how to say yes. And if they bring in someone who doesn't say yes, then the odds of them staying in that position for very long is honestly pretty slim. So that's going to be a real change. The Department of Justice and how they do their job is going to change. Now, the FBI is probably going to be curtailed in what they can do, or they are going to be given an expansion of responsibility of efforts against the American people, not against the criminal, but against the dissidents, people who, possibly me, possibly any of the people on TV who are doing the shows and everything. There's possibility of that. Take a look right now, today. Take a look at CNN, NBC, CBS, ABC, MSNBC, any other of the news stations that have been not necessarily friendly with the Trump campaign. And make a note of the names of the people who are on those shows today. And then make a note a year from now of which one of those people are still around. Which one of them are still the name of the show? Which one of them has that as a problem? So it's going to be just difficult. Now, another thing is on the international stage. So let's take the easy ones. Let's take Ukraine. Do you think that the United States, notice I'm not saying the president, do you think that the United States is going to decrease the amount of support provided to Ukraine to repel the Soviet Union unlawful attack into Ukraine, trying to subvert the country of Ukraine into a state of Russia? Do you think that's going to happen? And if so, well, what happens then? Okay, so if we decrease the amount of support that we provide, and we decrease the amount of support that we provide on a worldwide stage, standing up and saying we are behind Ukraine, if we decrease that, What happens to our allies in NATO? Are they expected to step up and step in the void that we're leaving? And then if they do that, what happens with Russia? What happens if Russia then attacks across the border, across everything at NATO, and they start trying to pick them off one country at a time? What happens as they go through this particular scenario? Don't know that that's going to happen right now. Thinking that the pin that's holding all that up is the support to Ukraine. And if we decrease that, or if we minimize our public support, things will change rapidly in that particular part of the world. What about Israel? What about the support that we have since 1947, when they became a state, when they became their own country, and the Jewish people had a country that they could call their own? What happened if we suddenly say, it's your country, do with it what you will, but we're not going to provide the same level of support that we did before? What do you think Iran and Syria and other countries in the Middle East will do at that particular time? Could be really, really interesting. And what about even if none of this happened, but NATO comes in and says, okay, we need something, we're doing this. And we go to NATO and say, we've had enough. We're done. We're just going to go back onto our side of the pond. We're going to go back onto our side of the pond, and we're just not going to worry about anything anymore. Okay, we're just going to be for us. Well, that should be very, very interesting. Well, I don't know what else to say. Obviously, I'm kind of a doom and gloom mood today, so let me just cut this off. Let me just say, I'm GW. I hope that you listen to this. I don't know whether you enjoyed it. It certainly wasn't the most fun one I've ever produced, but may the Lord bless you, and may the Lord bless this country, because right now I think we need all the divine help we can get. So y'all take care. I'll see you next time.